Hardcore Hog fans. Welcome to Prediction Thursday. This is Rick DeWese, joined by my co-host from sunny Newport Beach, California, George Waddell. What's up, buddy?
Today I'm at Inspiration Point. I thought since we're having Prediction Thursday to get a little inspiration, I found a place right here where the minnow left right behind me to go on its 3-hour tour.
And never to return.
To return, Gilligan's Island. I can see it from here.
Hey, let me introduce our distinguished guest today. We have the Suskie brothers, Paul and Bruce. Welcome, fellas. Good to see you.
Hotty toddy, baby. Hotty toddy.
Oh, good Lord, have mercy. Listen, Paul's got a daughter in law school up there and has had, season passes to the Grove. So I hesitate even having this interview today, but by God, we're going to do it anyway.
Let's go Hogs.
Let's go Hogs, baby.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, great. Yeah, I was going to mention Paul actually got us into the Grove when we went to the game, and he's probably the only person in Hardcore Hog who's had a reserved spot in the Grove the last 4 years. I guess he gave it up this year though. So
That's funny.
She graduated, so I gave it up. Now I got more time to go see the Hog.
All right, let's get right into it. It is Prediction Thursday today, and George Waddell, I'm passing it to you, baby.
Guys, we got to get on a roll. And, we've been through one Mississippi school already. This is for the Mississippi State Championship. I'm going out on a limb because I am a hardcore hog. I think it's going to be 38-35, and we're going to have to come up with a defensive stop at the end. But 38-35 Hogs.
Wow, look at you go, fella. I like it. I think I'm going to start with Paul on this one because I'm just going to hang him out there to dry and see what he's going to say before Bruce and I get into what the real score is going to be. What do you think, Paul? All you, baby.
So I'm going to call an audible. First of all, I looked at that offense at Ole Miss. Arkansas's running on all cylinders right now. And I started out 2 days ago. I thought high scoring, 45 Ole Miss, 38 Arkansas. And then I watched Ned Permy. And I began to realize, wait. It's a 70% chance of rain. The Hogs, it's going to be lower scoring, still a good score. Hogs are going to pull it out with the ground game with Braylon Russell, the horse, eating some grass, running all over them boys. And Arkansas wins in a tight one, 31-27. Go Hogs.
Oh, I'm so proud, my brother. I'm so proud. All right, Bruce. Take it away, bud. There's your brother. He's finally given up Ole Miss, and he's back to the Razorbacks.
Well, I was the same way. I was kind of thinking, both these offenses are pretty high powered. You look, Ole Miss, they're number 2 in the country in total yards, number 4 in passing. Hogs are 7th in total offense, 32nd in passing, and 44th in rushings. And again, I thought it was going to be a high scoring game, but then I thought, well, they might have some weather. Then I looked a little bit further at some of the stats, and Ole Miss only gives up 11 points a game. Their rush defense is number 2 in the country. So Hogs are going to have to throw it. They're going to be likely throwing it in the rain. So I was like, well, I guess that will lower the score and keep it tight. But, here's some stats for you. The Hogs are 5-0 against the spread in the last 5 times against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 1-10 the last 11 times against the spread against the Hogs. But you know what? How many times do you think Ole Miss has won in Fayetteville since they've been in the SEC? Take a guess.
Never.
2.
Twice.
Deuce.
But with that said, most of they played in Little Rock a lot, but still you would think they'd play a lot more. So Ole Miss, they struggle playing in Fayetteville. And when we were at the Grove last year, even the fans were saying that, said, we got your number down here in Oxford, but up in Fayetteville, we can't compete. So, I've been thinking long and hard about this when I was hoping the Hogs would win. I think Ole Miss is favored by 6.5, but I think that Jackson Dart quarterback, he's a player. And then Rue Paul playing linebacker, he had 10 or 11 tackles against Oklahoma last week.
Rue Paul.
Rue Paul.
Love it.
Is that really his name?
No, it's Pooh Paul.
He goes
He's an
by RuPaul.
ex-Razorback.
I call him RuPaul. So I'm worried about Jackson. I think it's going to be two of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the conference. Both can pass, both can run. But I'm afraid that during the fourth quarter, you're going to hear the Ole Miss band playing Mo Bamba by Sheck Wells. I'm going with Ole Miss 27-24.
Oh my goodness! I mean, listen, it's not. This is not the Suskie brother that I thought was going to flip on us, George. This is not the way I thought this was going.
Yeah.
But hey, be that as it may, I'm glad Paul's on our side. I mean,
That's right. Go Hogs.
I knew we'd have one. It'd be Paul or Bruce. Now Paul's my favorite. Bruce, you're not anymore. So, yeah, good luck with your score, pal. All right, here's where I'm at, boys. Listen, we've got two of the best defenses in the SEC. I am not nearly as optimistic about all this offensive scoring as you guys are, nor did I realize or read that there was rain in the forecast for the game. So without the rain, I'm Arkansas 21, Ole Miss 20.
Wow.
Tight.
Wow.
An unusual score for Rick DeWese to throw out there, but I'm telling you, I think the defense on both sides shows up. They're a great run defense, and it's going to be a long game.
Pulling a Franzetti on us.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, you've been a big fan of defense all year long, so I'm interested to hear why you think the Ole Miss defense can shut down Bobby Petrino's offense.
I mean, well, first of all, and either Paul or Bruce mentioned a minute ago, Ole Miss is either number one or number two in rush defense altogether. Now, their secondary is not as strong as what we have faced in the past, but they've got Pooh Paul, who, number one, is their leading tackler at Ole Miss. Last year, he was on the Razorbacks, and I don't have the exact stat. I bet Bruce does. He was probably the leading tackler for us as well. The kid's an awesome athlete. He's a linebacker. He's a beast. He will be everywhere. Now, they've been torn apart in the past on the screen passes and the short stuff and the long runs after, so I think we can make some room there and try to play that game plan a little bit. Now that I know that it's going to rain or supposed to rain, that's going to be a difficult deal when it comes to the long ball. So we'll see how that works out.
Do some damage after runs after catch.
Yeah, and, one of the things I'm thinking about, and Paul can probably answer to this better than anybody, is if indeed it's going to rain, because now you've got that on my mind, if indeed it's going to rain, that's going to do a lot to the crowd. A lot of the Ole Miss fans are not going to show up in the rain to watch our football game. So Paul can speak to that because he knows how Ole Miss fans travel.
Yeah, I will say they actually love traveling to Fayetteville. It's actually one of the closer teams for them, moving west, that is. And I think they'll have a good travel. I don't like for the Razorbacks, it's an 11 a.m. start. And it's not much time to get liquored up for the game. And rain may keep the crowd out of it. So Arkansas is going to have to be disciplined. Ole Miss is going to show up, but I think the Arkansas fans are excited after that big win last week.
Yeah, and I think we could have had a better turnout had LSU not beaten Ole Miss in overtime and the things that turned out a little bit better for Ole Miss. I think it would have been a bigger game than what it is. So, I mean, we'll see. But the rain will deter a little bit of it. And like I said a minute ago, it may deter our crowd a little bit. So we may have a little bit of trouble with our crowd being the extra players.
Well, it is Dad's weekend, so I am flying into Fayetteville on Friday evening at Sigma Newhouse in Fayetteville. I've got tickets. I am on the 10-yard line, about 20 rows up, thanks to my sister and brother-in-law.
Nice.
Like I said last week, I think we're in every game. If we don't turn the ball over, I think we can play with any team in the SEC. And Ole Miss, to me, is just another game. And I don't care if their defense is ranked high against the run. I don't think they've seen a run game like we showed last week. I was so impressed with the way that that kid hit the holes, and it really changed the dynamic of the whole game, being able to run the football.
Yeah. Braylon Russell is a bowling ball of a kid. I mean, he is a hustler, and somebody might have mentioned it earlier, man. That kid will eat grass and get up and run it again. I mean, he is a ball player. I love that kid. I'm glad you're going to be at the game, George, because obviously I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm in Chamberlain, South Dakota, doing a little bit of pheasant hunting. So I'll be rooting the Hogs on for a month, you bet. You bet we will not be able to find a sports bar with the Razorback game on. I'm going to have to stream it myself.
To George's point, Ole Miss also, I will say, I did put a caveat to, their high potent offense, but they put up a lot of big numbers against a lot of weak teams. Furman, 76-0. Middle Tennessee, 52-3. Wake Forest, which is reputable, 40-6. And then they lost to Kentucky at home. But they looked pretty darn good against South Carolina, 27-3. But my whole thing is, I still got a bad taste in my mouth of watching Nussmeier pick the Hogs apart. And I think Jackson Dart is just as good of a passer, not better, but he's got legs. He's like a Taylor Green.
Oh, buddy.
That's where I'm concerned here. But yeah, you're right. George nailed it. It's going to come down to turnovers. The Hogs don't turn it over. Try to keep Ole Miss's offense off the field. If it's raining, don't let them run. Then it's going to be a low-scoring game. The Hogs have a chance to win.
I'm worried about Dart as well. I mean, he's definitely the heartbeat of that offense. They've got some great wide receivers. Their running back is a yeoman. I've watched their ball games. I think we're in good shape to really do something here and beat this team. This is going to be a good win for us. And if we do win it, we really got our work cut out from there. So I saw that I'm looking over at the screen here in a very small spot. I see that our buddy Steve Wright has joined us. What's up, buddy?
Esteban?
I'm doing well.
There he is. Man, you are so small on my phone. I mean, like, I can't even I don't even know what color shirt you have on, to be honest with you.
At one point, somebody told me I had a face for radio, so I don't want to get real close. You know what I mean?
I hear you, buddy. You have a good write-out readout for us this week, and I'm eager to hear it. And I'm really, much more so, I'm eager for Paul and Bruce to hear it because they love perspective like I do from other Razorback fans that know their statistics, especially Bruce. So take it away, my brother.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I will be at the game. So George, come find me. It's been a hot minute since we hooked up at a Razorback game. So in DeWese's absence, I'll make sure that we'll receive you well in Fayetteville this coming weekend, rain or shine.
Look, yeah, excellent.
Yeah. Hey, so there is no doubt Ole Miss is coming into town, sitting at 2-2 in SEC play. Not exactly where they thought they were going to be. Surprising loss to Kentucky, as Bruce said, and just an absolute brutal overtime loss to LSU. They had that game well in hand with less than a minute left. It's a deep ball, incredible throw, and to your point, Rick, this would have been a little bit hotter game and to watch it. Ole Miss only had the one loss. They looked good against OU last week, but they weren't dominant. Dart's clearly the catalyst for that offense. Gunslinger mentality, very good instincts outside the pocket. I suspect Arkansas's defense is going to need to put a spy on him to limit his effectiveness when he scrambles because he's just that good. They got 5 or 6 guys who can go get it. Micah Davis, Jordan Watkins are elite pass catchers, along with Juice Wells. And they probably are going to get Caden Lee back. And if they do, that's going to be, if they get Trey Harris back, that's going to be huge because Caden Lee can go get it as well. They run the ball pretty effectively. Not great. I don't think Henry Parrish is any better than anybody we've seen all year long. He does run hard. He does catch the ball well out of the backfield. So that's good. The one key I've got for Arkansas, they're going to have to put a man on a guy named Caden Prieskorn. Absolute beast at tight end and is really, really good after the catch. Kiffin and Ole Miss offense are built to throw the football. They don't run it great. They got some dudes at wide receiver, and Arkansas secondary is going to be. They're going to have to need to play at a high level to defend the Ole Miss passing game. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they play the odds. They go for it a lot on 4th down, which is going to put a lot of pressure on our defense. Even when we've got them in 4th and 1 and 4th and 2, depending on where they are on the field, they're going to go for it. They go super fast, which makes it difficult for us to substitute. Get proper matchups, a lot like Tennessee. Let's talk a little bit about Ole Miss defense for a minute, because I think that defense is much more exciting to watch than their offense is. They are loaded up and down the line on athletes at all 3 levels, linebackers, and D-backs. I think somebody mentioned they were ranked number 1 in the country. That's in the country, not in the SEC in rushing defense. Their D-line is big. They're quick. Jared Ivey is an absolute dude, 6'6", 285, coming off the edge. We're going to have an answer for him, or Taylor Green's going to be in deep trouble. D-line does a great job eating up blocks. Talked about Paul a little bit earlier. They eat up so many blocks, their linebackers just come and come and come. So opportunity for linebackers to make big plays. Paul, like you said, he's a guy that leads Ole Miss in tackles at the linebacker position. Can't sleep on Perkins either, who flies to the football from his linebacker spot. Probably two of some of the best linebackers in the SEC and maybe in the country. Perkins is huge. He's big, fast, great nose. As scary as they are on defense, they do give up some yards in a passing game. OU was very successful. If you watch that game, a lot of screen plays, a lot of check downs. Gave Ole Miss or Oklahoma. I think I like Arkansas to take that same approach first. We're going to have to run the football effectively. No doubt Braylon's going to have to step up big. Run the football against the Rebels as was last week against Ole Miss. Absolutely abysmal day trying to stop him. He went for 176 yards. Ole Miss is going to have something for him. My keys to an Arkansas win, O-line's got to show out on Saturday. Taylor's got to react quickly when Ole Miss brings pressure because they're going to bring pressure off the edge. Secondary has got to find a way to keep Ole Miss in front of them. No deep balls. Arkansas has got to eliminate turnovers. We say this every week. I think we can keep pace offensively with Ole Miss, but we're not going to be able to do that if we give up the football. Ole Miss had multiple turnovers in both their losses. I think fumble and a turnover in LSU, two fumbles, lost to Kentucky. Yeah, time possession is going to be key to winning. Just like I talked about the Tennessee game, we got a limited number of offensive possessions for Kiffin and Dark to do some damage. I think we got to score in every quarter, even if it's field goals. We got to take points early. But I think the key of scoring something in every quarter is going to be huge. Both teams desperately need another win, an SEC win to keep pace. And I like the Hogs in front of the home crowd, rain or shine. And DeWese, I sent you some notes earlier. So, Paul, when I say the Hogs are going to win 31-27, I didn't steal that from you, brother. I promise.
I got it.
Razorbacks 31, Ole Miss 27. Go Hogs.
I love it. We've got two people that agree, and then we've got Bruce. Lord help him. Hey, Bruce, listen, you've got more stats, than a monkey has peanut butter. So can you please help Steve out on some of these stats? Because I know you said it. He may have joined early enough, but they haven't played anybody. I'm with you. And I hope I've convinced the Suskie brothers, George, I'll never convince, that these two defenses are awesome. We're not having a 38-point game, boys. I'm sorry. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be lower scoring. I mean, I went 27-24, and that's probably even a little bit high. Rick's it's probably going to be more like 21-17 or 17-14, something like that.
21-20.
I think there'll be some scorers. I think they both have good offenses.
21-20. 21-20.
21. Yeah. But and like I said, there was a lot of stat padding for Ole Miss early in the year, but at the same time, the Hogs, so they ran it up on Mississippi State. Mississippi State couldn't beat Pulaski Academy. I think Pulaski Academy could score 50 on them. I mean, they're 1-6. They are pathetic. I mean, last week I said their defense was weaker than David Sterling's pickleball game, and I stand by that. So it's kind of like one Mississippi, two Mississippi. But yeah, this Mississippi team is much better. I'm just concerned again about that run defense. I mean, they are solid. Now, again, granted, they were playing some weaker foes, but they beat South Carolina 27-3. They shut down South Carolina. That's pretty good. They don't give up much. Of course, they did give up 29 against LSU, but man, Nussmeier, he's got a cannon. He's good.
Hey, keep this in mind too. Another part of the team that we're going to have to deal with is Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, this is a feather in Lane Kiffin's hat if he can outfox Bobby Petrino. Okay, so keep the Lane Kiffin factor in play. Remember, Lane Kiffin is the most embarrassing quarterback in college football, and he will fake injuries. He will do whatever it takes to get an edge, and I don't care if the edge is the smallest amount you can imagine. Lane Kiffin will do it. And the difference is Sam Pittman won't. Now, Petrino would too. Don't get me wrong. Petrino could go ace for ace with Lane Kiffin, but Sam Pittman is not going to allow a lot of the underhanded things that would probably be needed to defeat Lane if he gets desperate. Because when Lane gets desperate, he knows how to work the refs, work the ball, work the game, the rules, everything.
Rick,
so that's another component.
Rick, here's why I think it'll be a high-scoring affair. Ole Miss goes for it. all the time on fourth down. I don't worry about the rain. It's a day game. Rain affects the play at night more so than it does during the day. I really don't think, as good as I want Braylon Russell to be, their run defense is so good. I think he's going to have a hard time. We know we're going to have to put up points. I think Taylor Green's going to have a big day throwing the football. Ole Miss gives it up in the secondary. This is probably for as explosive as their offense is. Their defensive secondary is just atrocious. I think we're going to have a hell of a day throwing the football. I think we're going to have both teams are going to be able to score because Arkansas secondary is not as porous, I don't think, as Ole Miss. But I think both these teams are going to light it up. Ole Miss doesn't run the football. They're going to throw it. They're going to go fast. Arkansas is going to have to throw to keep up. I do believe more like Paul. I think this is a 30 to 27 affair. You know, the over and under on this is 58.5. Hogs are like 6.5 point dog. They're going to throw it around. I don't worry about the rain. You know, they got these sticky glove things now. You know, you can catch it. You can catch it in a downpour. It's no big deal. That's why I like it to go big score.
Well, you made a good point. You made a good point with the fourth down, though, real quick. They've got a kid that is like Refrigerator Perry. I mean, they line this kid up. It's better than the tush push of the Eagles. They line this big kid up, and he's agile. He's no Perry. He's like actually can run the football, but that's how they get that fourth down push. I'm sorry, Paul, I did interrupt you there, but have at it.
Hey, no problem. Here's an X factor. It's not what's happening in Fayetteville or the rain and everything. It's who's coming to Oxford, Mississippi and the Grove next weekend. Georgia comes to the Grove next weekend. Lane Train and all his fans, he's thinking about beating the number 2, maybe by then the number 1 team in the country if Michigan can upset Oregon. He's thinking about next week. His players are thinking about next week. They're going to overlook that 250-pound freshman running back, and he's going to have 100 yards on the ground.
I'm loving it, man. I'm hoping that's the case because I love that kid. He is one of my favorite. He's a freshman. I think he's going to do great things for the Hogs. I hope we don't get caught up in this transfer portal thing every single year. You know, I hope we build some culture with some of these kids. So anyway, that's awesome.
Yep. So that big guy for Ole Miss is J.J. Pegues, I believe is his name. They gave him Chucky Mullins' number. Where's number 38? 6'2", 325, and they put him in at fullback on the goal line. So it's hard to tackle.
He's Refrigerator Perry.
That's right.
He is Refrigerator Perry, baby.
300
325.
Yeah, you heard him right. That means he wears a big jersey and a big pair of football pants because he's a big kid. And you think Braylon's a bowling ball? This kid's a bowling ball.
I used to hate that. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I think we'll fare well, though. I hate that I can't be there this week. Right out. Definitely take care of my boy George. He's there to see Lewis. And he's coming to join you from California.
It's a beautiful day. Well, I'm in Orange County, so there's a difference.
Yeah.
Not many people know that, but yeah.
Beautiful day in South Dakota.
Beautiful day in South Dakota. Where, Paul? You're in Little Rock?
Yeah, I'm in Little Rock, but I'm going to be on the Hill this weekend. So right out now, I've determined when we nailed the score perfectly, you got to buy some beer on Dixie Street.
Yeah, Rideout sits up there with all the pretty people, though. So it's hard to get Rideout's attention because he sits in the bougie seats, you might say.
He's in the Diamond Club. He's in the
yeah.
That's why he's not worried about the rain. He's not in the rain like I will.
No.
That's why you pay for the Diamond Club, so you don't have to worry about the rain.
Yeah.
Well,
Paul,
that's
the cheap seats for him.
Yeah, Paul, come by the Sigma New House for sure. You know where that is.
Hey, I'll do it, and I'll go call PIN number on everybody in the house.
Absolutely. What's your PIN number? 1. So Paul, Bruce, and I are all Sigma News, and my brother's son played Sigma Nu 4 years ago. So this is his senior year at Arkansas. It really means a lot to me, so I'm excited.
He's getting out in 4 years. I thought all the Waddells were on the 6 year.
No. I told him that he didn't have that advantage.
Safe travels, DeWese. Shoot them up.
All right, brother. I appreciate y'all. Good seeing you.
Later, guys.
Go Hogs.
Go Hogs.
Woo pig.
All right. Yeah. So what else we got? I didn't have my hog hat
He
last
brought a
time.
hog hat. Oh, he got his hog hat.
Yeah.
George
Brought my hog hat.
Waddell coming through.
Yeah.
I should have
gonna be
got.
advertising.
If I would have known, I would have got one of my hats to put on. I got a bunch of them back there. I just didn't
Hey,
think about
look,
it.
that's all I can show you.
Yeah.
I can show you representing.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
So how long?
Catch you on the flip side.
That was good.
Peace out.